shouted Gus, the crew's chief engineer, as he distributed coconut cocktails to the off-duty sailors. In the midst of the chaos, the telephone rang. It was the governor, calling from his hospital bed to gloat. Sterling picked up, trying to drown out the sound of a ukulele band in the background. McHale here, I mean. Sterling here. Yes, the garter belts have been delivered. Yes, we found a use for them. We're using them to secure the festive bunting. What? The Admiral's plane has landed? Already? Sterling went pale. Ironhide is on the way? Peep in. Scramble. The base became a blur of frantic activity. Hula dancers were shoved into the air raid shelter. Gambling tables were flipped and covered with tarps to look like experimental radar equipment. Cases of contraband rum were buried in the sand. Grand Admiral Grimshaw arrived in a jeep that seemed to move out of sheer terror of the man driving it. He was a man made of flint and vinegar. "Welcome to Azure Bay, sir," Sterling shouted, standing at a stiff, vibrating attention. "Acting Commander Sterling at your service." Grimshaw stepped out, his boots clicking like a death knell. He looked at Pippin, who was wearing a lei over his uniform. "What is that floral abomination around your neck, Lieutenant?" "It's an old native custom, sir. A sign of tactical respect," Pippin squeaked. "I heard Governor Barnaby was incapacitated." Grimshaw grunted. "I shall visit him first. Then I want a full inspection of every inch of this base, and if I find a single thing out of place, someone is going to be scrubbing the holes of the entire fleet with a toothbrush." Chapter 4. The Royal Farce. The tension was broken the following week by the arrival of the Sultan of Marami. He was a man of immense wealth, questionable temper, and 3 beautiful daughters. He arrived on the Silver Barracuda after his private yacht suffered a mysterious engine failure near Sterling's secret fishing spot. The Sultan was delighted by the ride. "Commander Sterling, your boat is a marvel. If my kingdom had such craft, we would rule the waves." Governor Barnaby, who had miraculously recovered the moment he realized a royal visit meant a potential medal, pushed his way to the front. "Your Highness, welcome. I am Barnaby Bilgewater. Please, let me escort you and the princesses to your quarters." But the Sultan had eyes only for Sterling. "The commander has already promised me a tour of the local waters after dinner. He is a true warrior, and the tutu was a tutu." Barnaby's face twitched. He spent the rest of the evening trying to sabotaging Sterling's charm offensive. During the formal dinner, a disaster of epic proportions unfolded. Pippin, trying to be helpful, had accidentally allowed one of the crewmen, Goose, to dress up as a princess to fill in for a royal daughter who had gone off to see the local sights with a handsome sailor. Barnaby, convinced Sterling was hiding something, began to point fingers. "Your Highness, one of these ladies is an impostor, a phony, a plant." He lunged at the princess in the middle of a traditional dance, ripping off a veil to reveal Gus's bearded face and a very confused expression. "You see," Barnaby screamed. "An impostor. You're under arrest, you phony Balinese bunny." The Sultan stood up, his face darkening like a storm cloud. "Governor, you have insulted my house. You have dared to touch a member of my royal party, even if he is a very hairy woman. I shall report this to the State Department. My Washington shall hear of this." Barnaby stood frozen, holding Gus's veil, as the Sultan stormed out. Sterling leaned over and whispered, "Nice move, Barnaby. I hear the State Department is very big on beard-related diplomacy." Chapter 5. The Case of the Laughing Gas. The Sultan's departure left a vacuum of misery that Barnaby filled with a vengeful pursuit of Pippin's military career. He convened a fitness board to have Pippin stripped of his commission for general incompetence and excessive blinking. "I'm a gunner, Skip," Pippin moaned, packing his bags. "I'll be an enlisted man again. My mother will never be able to show her face at the bridge club." "Don't worry, Pip," Sterling said, a plan forming in his mischievous mind. "We just need to get Barnaby in a better mood. a much better mood. The crew managed to borrow a tank of nitrous oxide laughing gas from the dental clinic. They rigged it to the ventilation system of the governor's office just as the fitness board was about to begin. As the gas flooded the room, Barnaby's stern expression began to melt. His frown turned into a twitch, then a giggle, then a full-throated, hysterical roar of laughter. "Cuthbert!" Barnaby shrieked, tears streaming down his face. "You're a boob, a wonderful, magnificent boob. And Pippin, oh Pippin, you little scamp. You torpedoed a garbage scow? That's the funniest thing I've ever heard. Promote him. Make him an admiral. Make the garbage scow an admiral." The visiting Admiral Shoemaker, who had arrived to judge Pippin, walked in to find Barnaby dancing on his desk and singing a bawdy sea shanty. "Binghamton, what in the name of the fleet is going on here?" "Oh, Shoei." Barnaby laughed, trying to hug the Admiral. "You're early. Join the party. Pippin just shot down a fly. Or was it a spy? Who cares? Everyone's an angel." Sterling and the crew watched through the window, satisfied. But the plan backfired when a real air raid siren went off. Pippin, still slightly affected by the gas, stumbled out to a heavy machine gun and, in a fit of hysterical luck, managed to shoot down a scouting plane with a single, unaimed burst while laughing like a maniac. "Did you see that?" Shoemaker shouted. "The man is a hero, standing in the face of death with a smile on his lips. Forget the fitness board. This man is a combat legend." Barnaby, coming down from his high, could only watch in horror as Pippin was handed a medal. Chapter 6. Sydney and the 62,000. The final blow to Barnaby's sanity came in the form of Sydney. Sydney was an alligator, or perhaps a giant salamander, no one was quite sure, but he had a fondness for Pippin's mother's peanut butter sandwiches. Barnaby had set a trap for Sterling's crew, using a wallet filled with $900 of marked bills as bait. He left it on the beach, expecting the crew to swipe it. Instead, Sydney found it. Sydney didn't just find the wallet, he treated it as a delicate appetizer. When Sterling's crew found Sydney, he was lounging in their shack with the wallet's ID card hanging out of his mouth. "He ate the governor," Pippin shrieked. "Sydney ate old Leadbottom. We're in for it now." When Barnaby arrived with the military police, he found no money, only an alligator looking very satisfied. "I've got you, Sterling," Barnaby barked. "Where's my wallet?" "Where is the $900? Sir," Sterling said with a straight face. "Sydney took it. He's the thief. We're just the victims of a reptilian heist." The ensuing court-martial was a circus. Pippin acted as his own defense attorney. "I object, Your Honor." Pippin shouted at the judge. "The governor is calling Sydney stupid." "Sydney is not stupid. He had a very difficult childhood. He was misunderstood by his swamp mates." Just as the judge was about to throw the case out, Sydney crawled into the courtroom, lured by a trail of peanut butter. He crawled right up to the governor and yawned, dropping the wallet now quite soggy and mangled at his feet. "Aha!" Barnaby shouted, grabbing the wallet. "The evidence!" But as the judge opened the wallet, he found only a few chewed scraps of paper and Sydney's ID, a chewed-up library card Pippin had tucked in for a laugh. "Governor," the judge sighed, "are you telling me this court was convened because of a soggy wallet and an alligator's lunch habits?" Case dismissed. And Barnaby, perhaps a long vacation is in order. Chapter 7. The Ghost of the Barracuda. In a last-ditch effort to break Sterling's spirit, Barnaby tried to convince the crew that the Silver Barracuda was cursed. He forged a secret history, showing that every previous crew of the boat had vanished under mysterious, supernatural circumstances. "It's a jinx ship, boys," Barnaby told them with a faux solemn face. "Ghostly engines, phantom guns. You're all living on borrowed time." The crew, being naturally superstitious sailors, fell for it hook, line, and sinker. They were ready to transfer out exactly what Barnaby wanted, but Sterling caught wind of the forgery. That night, as Barnaby slept fitfully in his shack, he was awakened by a chilling, low-frequency moan. "Barnaby," a voice echoed. "We are the ghosts of the Barracuda." Barnaby opened his eyes to see several glowing, translucent figures floating outside his window. actually the crew in white sheets.